Goodbye, Destiny 2. Destiny for a time was my favorite video game. I remember when I first got Destiny 1. I got it in 8th grade on Christmas Day 2015. I was very excited due to the fact that some of my friends were telling me how great it was. I played through the campaign, the strikes, the PvP, the raids. I played through everything from the Taken King expansion to the Rise of Iron. I played it all. I remember when I completed my first raid, King's Fall. It took an entire weekend to finish, and in the end, it was worth it. This event will go down as one of my most memorable in my years of gaming. When I first saw the gameplay reveal for Destiny 2, I was excited for it. A fresh start for the franchise, with new locations, new story, and most importantly, new weapons. I played through the beta. I even did videos on it, if you have been on the channel long enough. Once the game was released fully, I finished the campaign and I liked and disliked it. While the beginning was really well done, I cannot say the same for the rest of the campaign. A lot of the objectives in the mini levels were very tedious and repetitive, and the villain, although written pretty well as a character, was very easy to beat. When Bungie said they were going to do a new social space called The Farm, I was expecting the last city to be one of the destinations to go to kill enemies and do patrols, but it wasn't. What they did was rebuild the last city into the social space that was very similar to the original tower. To me, it seemed like they didn't really care about a fresh start. The strikes were very underwhelming. They didn't have any heroic strikes, they didn't have any exclusive gear. Overall, it tried to be like the original, but it failed. Miserably. The raid was always the redeemable factor of Destiny. It had unique loot, unique challenges, and unique ways of defeating the boss fights. While the new Leviathan raid that they have in Destiny 2 was good with those unique ways, it did not have the good loot we used to have in Destiny 1. The loot had no perks that worked exclusively in the raid, and they just felt underwhelming. While they did add raid perks to the armor sets later on in the game's life cycle, they were months late for that. Because by the time the first expansion dropped, everyone stopped caring about Destiny 2. I say that because Bungie has been doing very shady things in the background. For example, Bungie held the first double XP weekend in Destiny. While it was really cool, the problem was that Bungie rigged it so that we get less XP than we really get. When everyone found out, Bungie decided to decrease those XP gains, basically making it harder for us to get our bright engrams, which are essentially loot boxes in this game. What makes it all worse is their use of microtransactions, especially in holiday events like the Dawning. In previous events, the only way to get gear was to grind for it through strikes or activities that came with the event. In the Dawning, you just pay for them with real cash. This is bad because Destiny is about grinding for loot, not microtransactions. The Crucible, Destiny's PvP, does not work. In Destiny 1, you had multiple options for different game modes. For example, if you wanted to play Team Deathmatch, you could click on it. In Destiny 2, you only get two options, Quick Play and Competitive. This makes it worse when all game modes are 4v4. In Destiny 1, it used to be either 6v6 or 3v3. Not only that, they made supers happen once per match and made heavy ammo more common. More heavy ammo isn't bad in itself, it's just since being it's more common, then why don't they do the same thing with supers? Sadly, the first expansion drop for Destiny 2 was disappointing. The story was poorly made, the strikes were a copy and paste from the campaign, and they started the first week of Season 2 with a bugged gun. I say that in quotations because even though the gun was broken, they still had Xur selling it, which if you don't know who Xur is, he basically just sells exotic weapons every weekend. Not only that, they still held their competitive game mode Trials of the Nine. This is basically saying that the gun was intended to be broken. Overall, the game is a hot mess. The story is terrible, the strikes are terrible, the PvP game mode is terrible, the first expansion was garbage, and the use of microtransaction in the events is unforgivable. Sure, they did do new updates to make the game better, and they are good, but it's not going to save this game from annihilation. Honestly, I like Destiny 1 a lot more. Hell, I still play it. All I have to say is, goodbye Destiny 2, you will never be missed.